There was a slender black woman by my waist who was idly... I can't read this on YouTube. You guys have to read this part for yourself. Nope, cannot read that on YouTube as well. You guys, that's why I put the link down there so you guys can actually read the thing. Hello and welcome. I'm Scandalpants. I stream at twitch.tv/Scandalpants. And in my free time, I also read erotic literature in the least sexy way imaginable. So welcome to chapter 2 of School for Lesbian Subs. It's written by Tank Poet. The link is down below to this piece of art. And I'm going to quickly recap what happened in chapter 1. Our protagonist went on a site to find a school for lesbian submissive prostitutes instead of finding an actual job. And so now she's investing in her future and studying at this school. And it's her first day, I think. So let's go. That's where we're starting today. I'm gonna read it in this voice instead of completely whispering because it was requested that way. Chapter 2. It was to be 3 weeks before I would receive a reply. I had all but given up on getting in by that point and had gone back to trying to find a job as an administrator, as that was what my uni degree was in. I'm glad she went back to, job hunting. It was Emma. Hello, is this Daniela? Yes, speaking. May I ask who's calling? It's Emma from Miss Lily's School of Adult Education. I am pleased to be able to offer you a place in our upcoming course. If you accept, you will start in a fortnight. I was stunned. I was moving my mouth, but nothing was coming out. Hello? Are you still there? Yeah, sorry. That's fantastic. I accept. 2 weeks later. I had told all my friends and family that I was going to a job search training retreat for 2 weeks. We were to be out in the country, so I didn't know if I would have mobile phone reception or not, but I would call if I could. The school sent a driver to pick me up on the morning I was to begin, and I was collected promptly at 7 a.m., as it was nearly 2 hours driving to get there. The drive seemed to pass both quickly and take forever. I was tingling with anticipation. Arrival. ... The car pulled up at the front of a large estate. The grounds were immaculate and surrounded by high fences nobody could see in. There were cameras on the gates and the grounds, and I got the impression that nobody was sneaking in, or out for that matter. I was shaking as I exited the car. The chauffeur held the door for me again, and then went to collect my suitcase from the boot. She then headed towards the front door, and I fell in behind her. We entered, and the first thing I noticed was the stunning receptionist. She was about 175 centimeters tall, flaming red hair, milky white complexion, and piercing green eyes. She smiled at me as she came around the front of the desk and introduced herself as Emma. She dismissed the chauffeur with instructions to put my suitcase in the dorm and took my hand and led me towards a different door. I hope you'll enjoy yourself here, she said as we walked. I'm going to take you to the classroom now. You know what, I'm gonna actually put on a candle. I'm gonna put on a candle. I hope you'll enjoy yourself here, she said as we walked. I'm going to take you to the classroom now. You're the last one to arrive. She went on to tell me that class would start shortly and warned me that we were to wait in orderly silence or be punished. She giggled as she said this, and I got the distinct impression that she liked it when girls got punished. Well, here we are, she said, and opened the door for me. I walked in a stop dead. My mouth dropped open. There in front of me were 9 very beautiful young ladies in their early to mid-20s. All were dressed the same as I was, and all bar one was sitting at attention in old-style school desks arranged in 2 neat rows of 5. I think someone was one-handed typing at this point. Tankpod, get your shit together. The one was a curvaceous brunette about the same height as me, who was gagged with a big red ball gag and had her hands tied behind her in a box tie, causing her large breasts to strain magnificently against her white blouse. I went to ask about the restrained brunette, but Emma stopped me, saying, "I told you. We will punish those who can't wait silently." Natalie there spoke out of turn, and so has been gagged and restrained. Care to join her? She raised an eyebrow questioningly as she asked this. I feel like Emma wasn't even in the room, so how would you know what happened here? Please. I went to reply, but thought better of it. I didn't want to get a reputation as a troublemaker before we began, although I suspected it wouldn't take much for me to end up just like Natalie, and the thought made me very excited. Instead, I went and sat down at the empty desk, front row center, right in front of the teacher's eyes. Emma smirked and left, locking the door with a loud click behind her. I didn't have to wait long. It would only have been about 5 or 10 minutes before we heard the click of approaching high heels on tiles down the corridor. A short pause, and then the lock unclicked, the door opened, and in walked the most stunning Asian lady I have ever seen. She was surprisingly tall. I would guess about 180 centimeters, and her legs went all the way up. She had on a very professional-looking striped blouse and pencil skirt with sheer stockings and very tall heels. In her hand, she carried a riding crop. She walked to the front of the class and wrote "Slave Positions" and "Miss Miko" in big letters on the whiteboard at the front of the classroom, and then turned to look at us for the first time. She fixed each of us with a long stare, seeming to pay particular attention to Natalie in her bondage. "Okay, sluts, welcome to Miss Lily's School of Adult Education. I am one of your teachers. As you can see by the board, my name is Miss Miko. You might address me as Miss Miko, mistress, or ma'am. I will be instructing you this morning in slave positions." Oh, this is gonna be hard to read like that the entire time. "The purpose of slave positions is to show your submission to your mistress or owner. You will learn a variety of positions whilst you are here, and we will start by learning the basics this morning. I will need a volunteer." I meekly raised my hand and got a warm smile in return. "What is your name, slut?" Miss Miko asked. "Daniela," was my timid reply. "Come out to the front of the class." Miss Miko addressed the class now. "I will get Daniela here to demonstrate position 1. Anytime that you are told to assume position 1, you will immediately get into this position. Failure to respond quickly will result in punishment. Punishment for not assuming a slave position is to be tied, spread-eagled, and naked on the lawn out the back for an hour. This hour will come out of your free time. You will not waste my lesson time on your punishments. While you are tied outside, you will be watched and humiliated by our staff for being a bad slut." Do I make myself clear? 10 heads nodded in unison. I was then instructed into position 1. I was on my knees, with them facing outward at a 45-degree angle. My hands were resting, face up, on my knees, with my palms open, and my head was bowed, staring at my navel. Miss Miko looked over my position, made a couple of minor adjustments, and then told the class that it was time for us all to practice. She had one of the others untie Natalie, and then had us all stand in a semicircle, facing inward, and barked "Position 1." Everyone scrambled into position, and Miss Miko went around the room, using her crop to correct positions and commenting as she walked. We then had to stand up, and the order was repeated. Over and over it was drilled into us, and I got so into it that I stopped concentrating. I started to watch a slim blonde girl with a pretty face. It was opposite me and missed my cue. Uh-oh. Miss Miko noticed. I scrambled into position, but I was too late. "What do we have here?" she asked, a sadistic smile plastered across her beautiful features. "I'm sorry, mistress," I stammered through frightened lips. "I'll see you after class for punishment." And with that, the lesson continued. As everyone else filed out, I waited behind for Miss Miko. She motioned me to the front of her desk and picked up a manila file with my name on it. She read something, nodded to herself, and looked up at me. "It says here that you are an exhibitionist. Did you do this deliberately or what?" Her voice changed randomly. I started to answer no, but was silenced by a raised eyebrow. "It doesn't matter anyway. The sun is hot and you will bake on that lawn. That will teach you. Strip everything." And I was led to the back lawn. Once there, I had cuffs attached to my wrists and ankles, and then I was ordered onto my back and staked out spread-eagled. Still not sure what spread-eagled is. I guess I can imagine. Miss Miko then walked away, leaving me to warm up in the afternoon sun. That's like so dangerous. Like, every dermatologist is like, "What are you guys doing?" It was a warm day, so it didn't take long for me to start sweating and really feeling the heat. Within what I guessed was about 10 minutes, I was hot and uncomfortable. Then I heard the back door open and close and heels clicking on the path out to me. Emma appeared above me with a big smile on her face. "Just couldn't stay out of trouble, could you, Daniela?" And with that, she sat down cross-legged by my head, unwrapped her sandwich, and started to eat. A short time later, she was joined by 4 others, each with their own lunch. They sat around me, using my body as a table, and ate their lunch, occasionally spilling something on my exposed body. This was having an effect on me that was being noticed by the staff around me, however, and they began commenting every so often on the fact that I seemed to be getting wet. The 2 at my feet began to tickle me. They took a foot each in one hand and ran their fingers slightly up and down the sole with the other hand. My feet began to twitch. .tv/scandalpants and tried to move away, but bound as I was, and with them holding on to my feet too, I wasn't going anywhere. Just when I thought I was going to completely lose control and wet myself, sexy, a bell rang from the main building and Miss Miko appeared with a tray of wedgie sticks. She stopped by my head and Emma moved her feet so that Miss Miko was looking down on me. Actually, wedgie stick is a good idea. This is the true ASMR part about it. She stopped by my head and Emma moved her feet so that Miss Miko was looking down on me. Almost done, slut. Now it's time to feed you. I didn't bring any dip though, so we'll have to improvise. And with that, she stuck a carrot stick into my juicy, moved it back and forth to get plenty onto it, and then offered it to me to eat. I started to clamp my mouth shut and move my head away. Emma grabbed my hair and pulled my head up, looking me sternly in the eyes. I can pinch your nose and force you, or you can do this willingly. Your choice. Seeing that I was going to have to do this one way or another, I opened my mouth and let them put in the carrot stick. I have no problem with tasting others, but this was the first time I'd ever tasted myself. Doubt. It was less disgusting than I thought it would be, and I resolved myself to just eat what they made me. Veggie stick by wedgie stick. I was fed the entire tray. Each one dipped. Can't read that on YouTube. And each one turning me on just a little more as that blah. Each time I got close to whatever, read it yourself, the black woman at my waist would slap me hard on some part of my body that I can't talk about, and then I would have to wait until I calmed down before the next one was... God damn it, Teen Poet, stop! When the tray was done, I was left unsatisfied and staked out on the lawn until one of my classmates came to free me and I got dressed again. Okay, so chapter 2 is already kind of letting us know where this will go. I'm a little scared, to be honest, because think, like, probably chapter 3, I can't actually read the rest of it anymore. We'll see. We might have to skip all the way to the end if it's too graphic. So we can at least see what, became of her after 62 weeks. So we'll see. But yeah, I lost my appetite. I don't know how you guys feel. Thanks for watching, and thanks for bearing with me in this story. We'll see where this goes. Definitely ruined carrot sticks for me, I can tell you that much. Goodbye, and see you next time. Now it's time to feed you. I didn't bring any dip though, so we'll have to improvise. And with that, she stuck a carrot stick into my juicy... ja, alles gleich. Ja, das... Dankeschön für den ganzen Kissen. No.